Hello and welcome to Dia De Los Muertos on KBPK. I am Ryan Osborne, joined by Raymond and Eli, and we are getting things kicked off here for KBPK. 27 straight years, Dia De Los Muertos has been an institution at Fullerton College as they celebrate with the surrounding community on just the culture, religious aspect, and also ancestral aspect of what it means to be here at Fullerton, what it means to be around your family, what it means to be, well, plain and simple, I'll bring it over to you, Raymond, what it means to connect with everyone who has come before.
Oh, absolutely. Today is about remembering the people that came before you, the people that made you who you are today, whether you knew them or you didn't. We are all products of not only the environment that we're in and the people that we live with and that care for us, but we're the product of our families. And that comes our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. And we wouldn't be here without them. And today's about remembering our connection with those people, and that even though they're gone, might be long gone, they're still part of us. They're still alive in us. And hopefully we can continue that legacy for decades and decades to come.
So a few moments ago I mentioned that it is 27 straight years here at Fullerton College that Dia De Los Muertos has been an institution on campus. For me, this is the 8th time that I get to experience this in a live setting, not just on the broadcast, but also just going from a student to now after a student working here at Fullerton College. I'll bring it over to Eli. Eli, you know, you work with the Hornet, you do the photography for them. If you are in the photographer mindset, you come to an event like this and see the different family ties, the different celebrations going on, how would you as a photographer kind of decide what shots you would want to get at an event like this?
Well, for me, it's kind of all about the composition of everything. I like shooting something that tells a story. So sometimes, maybe in events like this, I'll shoot through the altars or the ofrendas that they have on their altars and try to like frame them within the shot so it tells a story of the people that are there on the altar of the past loved ones and how the people behind the altar are remembering them through that.
You know, what's interesting when you mention that is all too often you hear the cliche, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? But when you have something like this, like you mentioned, it may be a family member who's there and the person's right in front of you and you're trying to tell that story. How do you connect with someone who is looking at the photo for the first time? Maybe it's on a publication from the Hornet, but they're looking at the photo for the first time. How do you make sure that they gauge and understand what the connection is between the person who may be next to the ofrenda versus with the ofrenda itself?
Well, okay. So a lot of the things that I look for when taking a picture to tell the story is how they interact with the things around them. So maybe I'll see someone looking at a photo with like they're missing them and you can see it on their face, or like they're picking up something and it's kind of like I don't know if the sad is the right word, but it's like you can
got
just
that
feel
meaning
it.
to
It
it.
has a meaning to it, and you could just kind of feel it through what they're doing. And also a lot has to do with kind of how you just set everything up. So again, I mentioned like framing the people through things, but it can also do with like how you light things. You can make it look a little moodier or sad depending on how you adjust lighting around you. And for things outside, it's hard to like adjust lighting,
Right.
but it can all be done kind of in post, but not by actually altering what's really going on.
Now I'll bring it back to Raymond. Raymond, you hear the storytelling that is being brought by Eli. Now when you bring it to yourself, obviously right now, you're in more traditional, we don't want to call it an outfit because it's not an outfit. People misconstrue that. They think, oh, Dia de los Muertos is just an extension of Halloween for Hispanic families, right? That's not the case. When you look at Dia de los Muertos, it's about family. It's about ancestry. It's about the connections, like Eli is mentioning, with the ofrendas and people that has meaning to them. When you look at what you chose to wear today, what meaning did that bring to you when you connected to this event?
Sure. So the patterns that I have on my shirt are a very traditional Hispanic symbol that you see. It's something that you'll see very often if you go to Mexico or Guatemala, El Salvador, anywhere in Central America. You'll see this kind of design a lot. And this comes from a shop that I really like in LA, run by people who came here from Central America and make these clothes and sell them to other people who are trying to connect with their culture. The same with the hat, the black and white, the skeleton face. It's to try and make sure that you can connect as much with your ancestors as possible. You're trying to make sure that you can solidify the connection. And what you said is so true. So many people see Dia De Los Muertos as it's just Halloween. I can just wear a costume. But it isn't about being scary, or it isn't about...
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's not about being scary. It's not about, finding that, perfect Scooby-Doo costume for the night. This is more of a family aspect.
Yeah, this is a memorial that we have. This is a connection not only for your own family and your connection, but the community at large. I mean, you can see how many people are here. It's a big thing, and it's even more in the places where it's really celebrated in Mexico and in Central America. But, with the people here, you can see that it's still alive here. People bring their culture here, and they share it, and they explore it, and they make it work here, because it works in any situation, because family and love and remembrance of those before you are universal.
Now I'll bring it back over to you, Eli. Have you had an opportunity to experience a Dia De Los Muertos, maybe not just at Fullerton College, but overall?
Yeah, I have. I'm Mexican. We don't necessarily celebrate it, but other people in my family do. And I think last year actually, I went to a festival on Dia De los Muertos in Bellflower. They had this whole part of Bellflower kind of blocked off for the celebration, and they had a lot of, they had some mariachi bands playing there, and they were giving out food, and there were people face painting, doing the sugar skulls and everything. I think that was actually the first time I did experience it, because in my immediate family, we don't celebrate it. But experiencing it last year and talking about it now, or you guys talking about it now, kind of made me a little emotional. I'm like, I'm not really connected with that part of my culture, but it makes me want to definitely learn more about it, appreciate it more, and include it in my family when I'm older.
And what's interesting when you mention that is we have seen that before with students who have come here on the broadcast with us. In 2019, we got the opportunity to be here on a live stream as well. And it's interesting to see people kind of experience it, not maybe for the first time, but start hearing that more family aspect to it, and we see them explore that side of their family, that side of their ancestry as well. When you take a look to yourself, now you're going to get the opportunity to experience a Fullerton College Dia De Los Muertos. Is there anything that you're kind of looking forward to seeing here tonight at Fullerton College?
Well, everything I've seen so far is honestly like kind of taking me back a little. At my previous college, we had a Dia De Los Muertos, but it was nothing like this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is like more than I've seen before, and it's really fun. I like it.
You got the opportunity to actually get the face paint on as well just a few moments ago. What was that experience like? Did you get to choose your design?
Yeah, they did let me choose, but I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I kind of told the makeup artist, like, you got free reign, you do what you want. It came out really nice, though.
It did indeed, if we can say so ourselves. And, I'll switch to you, Raymond. Did you get to choose your makeup as well?
I did. I actually did it myself.
There you go.
I had to hand paint it. I was in the mirror trying to figure out. I looked at different designs that I liked, and, I knew kind of the idea of the sugar skull that I wanted to make. But then I started adding some different designs, because a big part is expressing yourself. There's no one design that's perfect for everybody. It's, what you want to make of it. I had the rings, I had the dark eyes, and I had the smile, but I just decided to do the, little triangle on my chin and the dots, around my eyes. And that wasn't due to seeing some design and really liking it. It just felt right for me.
And that's the thing about Dia De Los Muertos. It's all about that feeling. It's all about connection. It's all about family here at Fullerton College.
And I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the staff who have planned this tremendous event. Let's give them all a great big round of applause and bringing us together in community and celebration. Thank you so much. And once again, welcome, and I wish you a delightful, enriching, and meaningful Dia De Los Muertos celebration here at Fullerton College. And it's certainly my privilege and honor to now introduce to you the president of Fullerton College, Dr. Cynthia Olivo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chancellor Breland. Bienvenidos a todos. My name is Dr. Cynthia Olivo. I'm the 10th president here at Fullerton College. And it is an honor to be here in front of you to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, I think about all of our antepasados and the spirits that are here with us, celebrating our college, our students, and our Hornet community. I want to thank the Ethnic Studies faculty members who helped create this tradition. Everyone who's ever been a part of the Cadena Cultural Center, thank you so much for ensuring that we bring this particular celebration to our campus. We are a proud Hispanic serving institution, and days like today help us to live that out so that our students can celebrate here just like they do at home. I know for myself, tonight I think about my grandparents, Juan y Salome Bustos, and all of my tias and tios who worked so hard as campesinos and made a way for my mom, Juanita, myself, my sisters, to enjoy a college almost exactly like this one, but in my small town, San Jacinto. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who was a part of making today happen. Thank you to all the family members who are here with us. And please always remember, you are a part of our Hornet familia, and we really appreciate you coming here tonight. Muchas gracias, thank you so much, and let's enjoy the rest of the festivities. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and you have access to the food now, so if you guys are hungry, please go ahead and line up, and we're gonna start some music, so please enjoy yourselves. Si tienen hambre, ya estamos empezando el servicio de la comida y vamos a empezar con algo de música, así es que a disfrutar. Adelante.
So we are here on KBPK. Ryan Osborne joined by Mark Pavlovich. And Mark, just a few moments ago, we got to see your exploration, your foray, if you will, over to the painting side of things. And we'll welcome Mehrdad in just a couple of moments off the screen over to my right once he's all set and ready to go here on the broadcast. But Mark, as we bring it back from your feature over at the face painting portion of things, you kind of get this sense that a lot of people aren't here just because it's another day to celebrate Halloween. The emphasis here is that it's about family connections and ancestral ties.
Well, it's completely two different things. As you know, I have a very good friend that lives in Mexico, and we will talk about Day of the Dead and what they celebrate and why down there. And if you walk around the tables here at Fullerton College, you go over to where they have pictures of, unfortunately, some people that have used drugs and passed away because part of the departments are trying to inform people of what's going on. And they're honoring and celebrating their spirit. They're celebrating the life that was. So as we know that when many people pass away, Ryan, we mourn. Many people will mourn. Day of the Dead lets you celebrate and care about those individuals, and you make offerings to those spirits. And that's when the dancers will show up, and they'll be behind us here on camera soon. That will also be a way to celebrate Day of the Dead. So it is a day of celebration. It's not a day of monsters, ghouls, and spooks. That's Halloween. That's on the 31st. And then the Hispanic culture has Day of the Dead. And you're somebody, now you and I have talked about this. You are Hispanic. You're Irish and Hispanic. You're Colombian. When we had Noah Alvarez with us, we were talking about everybody thinks Day of the Dead is just a Hispanic holiday. It is not. Not all Hispanic cultures celebrate Day of the Dead.
Yeah, and for myself, like Mark mentioned, I am Colombian, and that's not just, it really wasn't a part of the culture growing up, because as far as I knew, or at least the region that my family is from, didn't have that Dia de los Muertos celebration, so I had to be educated on the event the first time that I came out here as a student. We mentioned earlier, 27 straight years that Dia de los Muertos has been celebrated on campus at Fullerton College, and it has been a privilege to come out here and learn from the people who did get to learn what this event means for their ancestors from their families. We got to understand what it means to them, not just on paper, but we get to talk to them and say, hey, what exactly does this mean? What do the sugar skulls mean? What does the face paint mean? What does the music mean? What do the performances mean to us? What should I glean from this? And that's the opportunity that I got, because I didn't grow up with a Dia De Los Muertos celebration, being Colombian. But now that I get the opportunity to talk to each and every person who not only puts on this event, but also helps run this event, you get an understanding of what it's supposed to mean. And yeah, even though I didn't grow up with that Dia De Los Muertos, you get the understanding of, you know what, even in my own context, I'm able to understand the family ties that go with it.
Well, and what I like about this celebration on campus, Ryan, is when you talk about Day of the Dead and it's got the Hispanic culture background to it, you will see many of the participants that are out here that are not Hispanic, that have certain things set up for people that have passed away, that embrace the ideology of this. And what I like about this too is when we think about Fullerton College, we've got to realize that Orange County in general was a heavily populated Hispanic community. I mean, if Jerry was with me, he'd be sitting here 88 years old, about that tall right now, Jerry Padilla. But Jerry and I would talk about the old days, that it was Caucasian and Hispanic in Orange County. It was not unusual to see celebrations like this. I had a household across the street from mine that actually brought in dancers one Christmas to celebrate Christmas in the proper way for them as a family and their heritage. So, you know, when you look at this and somebody goes, oh, well, they're trying to be good to a community. No, it's a community that has been very good to Fullerton College. And it's nice to see them give back to the Hispanic community by having this for multiple years. You, myself, Mr. Nealon, we've been out here a lot of years and seen a lot of things. Missing Big Joe, the big sandwich. He's not out here tonight with us, but if he was here, Joe would be looking for every bit of history he could find here on the campus at Fullerton College.
And that's one thing as we just had one of the performers coming up just a few moments ago. You know what? As the performers get ready, we're going to actually give you that footage of Dia De Los Muertos and the performers getting the opportunity to express themselves and just see what this means to the people who aren't just running this event, but are also participating in it.
Are you staying here? Because I'll go up and do a little camera work and change the camera setting. And
you know what? I think we should both take off and go watch the performance. Let's have the people at home also watch it as well. So we'll get right to that.
Let's do that.
You just saw the performances here at Dia de los Muertos, and now we're here with Ellie. Ellie, thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So you're at the painting booth, right?
Yes.
So how's that been tonight? A lot of people. What kind of designs are you doing?
Yeah, so since it's Dia de los Muertos, we're basically doing sugar skull makeup on everyone that's coming by. We have some designs that we provide, and people are just bringing us designs that they want us to do as well.
Man, I should have gone over there instead of doing it my own. It would have
Yours
looked
looks
much better.
Great, you're good.
Is this the first year that the Cosmetology department is doing the face painting here?
No, so this is something that they actually do every year, and so we just like to be a part of the community here on campus, and this is just another way that we're allowed to do it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us, what does Dia de los Muertos mean to you?
So it's really special to me because it's just a day that we get to celebrate our ancestors and just like think about everyone that has been in our family that's passed, and it's just a day that we get to remember them and honor them. And so I'm really grateful that us as a cosmetology department are able to be a part of that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So do you celebrate Dia de los Muertos outside of Fullerton, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so my family and I will do the altars. I don't really celebrate it as much as some other people will, but I'll try.
Well. And for you, what does Dia de los Muertos mean for your family? And, you know, is there somebody in particular that you're remembering when you celebrate today?
So I had my grandpa pass away last year, so this would be the second year that I'm able to just kind of take the day to remember him. Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of celebrity pictures up on the altars too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see people like Tupac Shakur, Anthony Bourdain. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a family member. It could be someone that was
No.
very special to you, someone that perhaps changed your life and made you who you want to be today.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that it's not just, it's typically a Mexican holiday, but people of any culture can be a part of this holiday to just remember people that they didn't even need to know personally, but just people that they appreciate and they just want to honor.
Exactly. I was wondering if the cosmetology department has someone else like Kevin Aquan, like a famous makeup artist like Kevin Aquan, or perhaps even like someone who did makeup like Estee Lauder or something there. I would like to see that in the future.
Yeah, well, we're still intro to everything that comes to cosmetology. We're still getting to know all the famous people that are involved in it. So definitely that's something that we're going to get to know a little bit more about later. But yeah.
Now, obviously, looking at Hispanic culture, of course, it's the family, it's the community. But what community would be complete without food?
Exactly.
I mean, I can smell the food from here.
Yep.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to? I mean, I got my champurrado waiting for me once we're done.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I haven't actually had a chance to circle around yet, but my friend and I were talking about getting some tacos after just to keep that Mexican spirit going. That sounded really good, but everything smells amazing. I'm definitely going to take a lap and maybe get something to eat.
There's definitely a lot of options here. It's tacos, tamales, champurrado, pan dulce. I mean, everything you could ever want in a Hispanic culture, Hispanic celebration, we have here at Fullerton College today.
I love that. I'm grateful to be on a campus that is able to honor the culture like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long are you going to be working at the cosmetology table, and are you going to give yourself time to enjoy tonight?
Yeah, so I mainly have to be there all night. I think we're here until 8:30, but we're just taking in as many people that want to come by. But yeah, I think we do get a chance to take a lap and kind of take a look at all the other things going on and all the other programs that are here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I mean,
Thank
I
you
hope
for
that
having me.
you don't work all night. You get to enjoy it a little bit. I mean, Dia De Los Muertos isn't about working. It's about enjoying, being with the
Exactly.
community, eating the
Yeah.
delicious food, and overeating a little bit, just so you remember it
Exactly.
tomorrow.
Well, I don't view this as much as work. It's something that we all enjoy doing. We're here. It's a volunteer event. We didn't have to be here. So it's just out of the kindness of our hearts and just wanting to celebrate with everyone on campus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being with
Thank
us
you
here
so
tonight. And I
much.
hope you get to enjoy the rest of your night here.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much for being a part of the community as always. Thank you so much. KBPK 90.1.
This is a school, this is un colegio, this is education, esta es educación. And when you have education, it's healing for us, healing for you. This is the direction of Cihuatlampa, la dirección de las mujeres, for the women. We men come from you. Rezo para las mujeres, un grito, Cihuatlampa! Tlahuitlampa, to the direction of the dead. Los 13 y 9 niveles for our people that are dying at the border, que nos pusieron, los colonistas. We pray for the people that have died all over the world, for all colors, for the human race. Mi Tlampa! Tlahuitlampa, to the direction of where the sun, Tonatiuh, el Padre Sol, Tata, Grandpa, Abuelito, Chito, rises and gives us life, calor, vida, Totonque. Tlahuitlampa! And to our Native American elders, the code talkers to defend our country, and to our Chicano Mexicanos that are also fighting for this country, that have died. Para nuestra gente, veteranos de guerra, for our warriors, estos guerreros que cruzan la frontera. Huitzilopochtli, Huitzlampa! Koyani, Guateteotzi, Namochoca, Nicamohitali, Chachilanca. Intlaneste, Tunalisti, Tlahuia, Huehuacte, Moxi, Huemote, Cosumatzi, Nemi, Iwicampa, Iwicampa! Tonantzin, Mother Earth, we plant your corn, maíz y frijoles, nopalitos, amaranto, nopales y pulque for Day of the Dead. Tonantzin, Coatlicue!
So just a few moments ago, you got to see a little bit more about the performance here at Dia De Los Muertos. Now we're here with a professor of sociology,
Angie Andrus.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank
and we
you.
have, of course, Merdad.
Pleasure to be here again. Professor Andrus,
Yes.
you have a Dia de los Muertos table that has an altar, and it's heavy on people who've died on drugs.
Yeah, so I'm the advisor of the Sober Club, and we are honoring and remembering the 110,000 Americans who died this year of drug overdose, primarily to fentanyl poisoning. It's 300 Americans a day who are dying. So we wanted to have an ofrenda, we wanted to remember them, honor them, and also raise awareness and educate the public, the campus, and the community about the dangers of fake pills and fentanyl. A lot of lives lost.
And that's one of the hardest things, especially with fentanyl, because fentanyl came on the scene a few years ago, and even among law enforcement, there was a lot of brouhaha and unfortunately misinformation. The infamous video of the police officer touching it. And someone tells him it's fentanyl, and he goes into shock and he passes out.
Exactly.
And people start saying, he died. He just like, no. He got scared because of misinformation. He believed it was something it wasn't.
Yes.
And so that's why he passed out.
Right, he had a panic attack.
It was literally just a panic
Right,
attack.
and that's something really important to know too, is to educate, we want to dispel the myths. You cannot overdose by touching fentanyl. You're not going to overdose by touching it, but you know what, people are afraid. But it also makes it so that like first responders, like our police officers or firefighters, like they may be afraid to help someone for fear that they could touch it and die, which I'm glad that you know the truth behind that. That they aren't, and we just need to get people the help. We want to keep them alive because no one can get sober if they're dead. We want to educate about harm reduction. We want to let people know about the dangers of, one pill can kill. Don't take any medication that is not prescribed to you or that was given to you by a pharmacist.
Even if it looks real, even if it looks exactly like the real thing,
Yes.
it may not be.
Absolutely.
And nowadays has deathly consequences.
Yes, and our ofrenda over here, we actually have a pill identification guide, and we have a guide on looking at the actual pills, and you cannot tell the difference of which one is real and which is a fake.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's become like the Louis Vuitton purse. You can't tell the bootleg from the real one anymore.
Right.
Except this one will get you killed.
Exactly.
And it could be someone giving to a party, could be someone you trust giving to a party.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so dangerous.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask more about what about Narcan?
Okay, Narcan. I actually have Narcan over there at the table as well.
Wonderful.
So Narcan is an overdose reversal medication. It only works for an opiate overdose. If you administer it to someone who you think is having an overdose, but they are not, it is not going to hurt them in any way. But it is an absolute lifesaver. Every family should have Narcan in their home. You can get it over the counter today without a prescription for $40. And it comes with 2 nasal sprays. So it is vital to have Narcan in every home.
Each little Narcan has 2 sprays in it.
Yes.
And you're supposed to do 1 spray, wait 3 minutes about. If you see it's not working, do it 1 more time.
Absolutely, and make sure to call 911. And yeah, we want to get them the help that they need and keep people alive. And Narcan is doing it. It is an absolute miracle.
So you talked earlier about how this is such a big national crisis, that so many innocent Americans are suffering and dying from this drug.
Yeah.
How do you condense it down into a Fullerton College perspective to teach students and really show the impact that it's not just something out there, but it's something that affects the community here?
Oh, 100%. So one of the classes I teach is drugs and society. So it's definitely a focus in there of raising the awareness, the education, the Sober Club as well. We like to be on campus at the club rushes and educate our campus community of the dangers of fentanyl and misuse of drugs as well. So it's in our homes, it's in our families, and my son struggles with addiction, so I share that with my students, and I have so many students come up to me and say, thank you so much for sharing, because it's one of those taboo topics. People are ashamed, they're embarrassed, and we need to tell our stories and not suffer in silence. We need to build a support group around us and let people know that this is in every family. Everyone knows someone who struggles with addiction. They just might not know it yet. So really important to raise the awareness, and especially for our students too. We don't want to lose any of our students to this.
So what are some signs that family and friends can look at, to see if there's something going on with their loved ones, and what steps can be taken to try and help them and encourage them to find the necessary help so that they don't just become a part of a big statistic?
Yeah, it's a change in behavior. I mean, you know your kids, you know your family. If you really see them, their behavior begin to change, their appearance begin to change. If you see them possibly nodding off some or sleeping more, eating less, withdrawing more, those could certainly be some signs. It's important to talk to them, and it's so important to have open, honest communication. Tough love is something in the past. We really want to focus on harm reduction today. What can we do to get you the help that you need? We want to get people well. That is the point. People who use drugs aren't bad people, and they are our loved ones. So we want to help them. We want to be the support. We want to let them know we love them no matter what. And, there's different ways. There's many paths to recovery. There's rehab. There's medication-assisted therapies like methadone, Suboxone. So there's many paths, many ways, but people need to do it on their terms and when they're ready, because forcing someone into treatment doesn't necessarily work. But I really think the biggest thing is families need to educate themselves, and they need to be aware of what's happening. Yeah. We really need to raise awareness. We need to get off the whole thing of drugs being so bad, because drug users, are good people. They're not bad people. We need to remove those labels of being an addict. We want to change our language, because when we change our language, we can help change our perspective. And that's another aspect of removing the taboo and the stigma.
Now, earlier this year, this school had a Narcan training seminar I was proud to be a part of.
Yes.
And I have Narcan in my possession now thanks to that, and I learned how to use it. Will we be doing more of that in the future? Because that was so important.
I hope that they will. The Sober Club also hosts online. We have a whole workshop on Narcan, what it is, how to administer it, how to spot the signs of an overdose. So we really want to try to do that every semester as well. Amy Dunkel from the Solis Foundation is the one who coordinated with our health services on campus, and she's done that twice, I believe. And
amazing
it's
lecturer.
been fabulous.
Yes.
And so important to carry Narcan. I always have Narcan on me. I hand it out. My mom, who is 73 years old, even hands out Narcan to people.
There you go.
So I love it. Yeah, we want to keep people alive.
So
Yeah.
I know that you said that you're a professor of sociology here. So Dia De Los Muertos, I mean, it's a big societal, cultural phenomenon.
Yes.
So I'd love if you could tell us a little bit more about the history, kind of what it means for culture.
Well, it's got very deep cultural roots in Mexican culture, in Latin culture, Aztec culture, and it, unlike in the United States, where in the primarily in the culture we look at death as being taboo. It's something we don't want to talk about. But in these other cultures, and many other cultures around the world, they honor death, they celebrate death, and Dia de los Muertos is the time that we can provide an offering, their favorite food, their favorite drink. We can have their picture, and we can remember them and honor their lives. And it's just such a rich cultural tradition. I love educating my students who oftentimes they've never heard about it. So my death and dying class this semester, they actually made their own shoeboxed ofrendas, and we have them on display here tonight, and everyone is just loving them. The details in them, they are so beautiful. And to see the students learn about it in a module online and then actually bring it to life. I told them this week, no chapter material, it's all arts and crafts.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they've made some beautiful altars, and I just love the cultural diffusion of it so that they can learn about this amazing celebration. Yeah.
Well, it's refreshing to have a culture that doesn't look down on death. You see,
Yes.
it's the end of the cycle.
Right.
And there's no beginning end. It's a cycle. It just keeps going and going. We don't know
Yes.
what the next doorway goes through.
Exactly. And on these nights we welcome, we welcome our friends and our family and our pets and our loved ones back, and we offer them their favorite foods and drinks and music, and we all feel like they're here with us, and that's so important.
Well, thank you, Professor. I applaud you for your noble table here, your ofrendas, what you're teaching here at the school. And I hope that we can have more conversations and more frank conversations like this
Absolutely.
about, the issues that are plaguing not just the U.S. but our culture
Yep.
and our community here. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here,
Thank you
Professor.
so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much.
Thank you
and
so much, Professor
Really nice
Andrews.
talking to you. Thank you.
Here on KBPK.
I'm Ryan Osborne, joined by Mark Pavlovich. As we get set to talk to Erica Torres. And Erica, you have the opportunity to be out here representing the photography portion of campus. What does an event like this mean to photography?
A big event like this, the Dia De Los Muertos, we're expecting 1,500 to 2,000 participants or, guests to be coming. And this allows us to showcase not only like the newest tech that we have, which is a photo booth. It allows us to showcase what we are teaching our students. So I feel that this is like, in a way, a great promotion to show, hey, Fullerton College has an amazing photography department. Come visit us. If you're interested in photography, then this is the place to go.
When you look at photography, and actually I'll toss it to Mark after this question, interrupted him there for a second, but I was just talking to Eli, who we had here on the broadcast a few minutes ago, and she mentioned that in a setting like this, it's all about telling a story with a picture.
Absolutely.
How do you do that if you're coming out here with no previous context?
Well, when it comes to, let's say, this event, we come into it already knowing the history, at the very least of it. And you're going to be capturing different angles, capturing, details. And in itself, you're telling a story within those details and in this event. So, just alone the photos that I've seen from, we have a wandering photographer actually right now. I can see the Hispanic heritage. And that's so entrenched in this event. So it is hard to come into it if you're not really like knowing. But when you come out of it, you're gonna know a lot more than you bargained for.
Well, that's what photography is, story without words.
Exactly.
And pictures describe the words. And you as a viewer, when you shoot something, I get to view your picture. I get to interpret what it means. Maybe completely different than what you thought it meant. But I'm going to go back talking about the department here because
Yes.
I can remember when it was strictly 35 millimeter. You got that camera, you zoomed it, then you had to go in with all your chemicals and develop it and everything else. Then Todd Glenn went from theater to photography. Digital photography got introduced by a theater person on this campus.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Todd Glenn, who went over there. And so I've got to ask you as an artist, have you shot in both mediums? And
Yes.
if you have, which one from an artistic point of view, and I'll follow up with a question on that, do you enjoy?
Yes, I have had the opportunity to shoot in both formats, both mediums. I started on a 35 millimeter film camera and then moved on to medium format and large format. Absolutely loved it. Totally different feel for it. And when I jumped into digital photography, I was able to take what I've learned from shooting film and that discipline to move it into digital. Now, I personally, I'm a wedding photographer, guys. So I would have to say for my work in event photography, I love digital. But when it comes to the artistic form of it, I'm going to say film, because film has something that I just feel like you cannot replicate. It has just a color grade on it that digital just isn't there yet. But also, you're forced to really look into your viewfinder and figure out, is this a shot that I'm going to take? Because if you are clicking and clicking on film, that's money right there. Whereas I can click all I want on a digital camera and not think about the money aspect of it, because film's expensive.
It's real interesting you bring that up. I just talked to a friend of mine who's a camera person over at Sony and isn't doing much because of the strike right now.
Yes.
And we were talking about because our partner here at KBPK, Joe, is a technology freak. He's a geek, and he will show me every brand through. That's right, Big Sandwich. That's his nickname. He really looks at the new technology. And I said to Jamie, this company's going to try and take over what Panavision did in this company. And Jamie said, you can do all the digital you want, Mark, in our industry, but there's something about film that gives you much more depth and much more feeling than digital does. And that's why I had to ask you that question for you
Absolutely.
being an artist. Let's go back to the heritage aspect of this, because you're Hispanic, he's Hispanic. When you look at a day like today that a college is promoting, what would you like every visitor from this event to realize when you talk about Day of the Dead?
That we look at death not as a final goodbye, but we see it as a we will see you again. That's what I want people to get out of this event, because it's not saying, oh, I'm never going to see them again. We're still paying our respects, and we're saying, okay, I'll see you once again. Until that day comes, every year we're going to celebrate your celebration of life.
And so and then I'll
No,
get out of
you're
your
good,
way,
you're good,
Ryan.
you're good.
Because I do want to ask. I mean, we know how so many Hispanic countries are extremely Catholic.
Yeah.
That does Day of the Dead and the religious aspect work together, or does it not?
No, and
I don't know.
So
That's why I'm
that's a tough
asking
one,
you.
actually, because in a way that we're bringing religion into it, biblically, it kind of doesn't. It kind of doesn't. There's certain aspects that kind of fall off when we're talking religiously and biblically, but there's also pieces infused in like today that does work. So the whole, yes, we will see you again, but the part where do they come here to Earth to for one last hurrah? Maybe not. So it's a give and take. It's a give and take on that one. That's a tough one. That's a tough question.
When you look at Dia De Los Muertos from a personal experience, just a few moments ago we were talking with Eli, we were talking with Raymond. They had different aspects.
Yeah.
One person didn't have that traditional, we'll say, tie-in from Dia De Los Muertos to their own family celebration.
Yeah.
Another person like Raymond was more in tune with it because that's what he grew up with. What was your experience with Dia De Los Muertos growing up?
It was actually only through my friends that I even got educated on it. My family, we are Hispanic, but a lot of them come from Texas, so it's from that side. But a lot of my friends, they're deeply Catholic rooted and really hold this day so close to their hearts. So I remember going over for dinner and seeing this and going, oh, what is this? And them explaining it to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful way to celebrate the afterlife. It's beautiful. So that's how I got accustomed and knew about it. Yeah.
A few moments ago you were talking about allowing the students to learn what different technologies you have, but also being out at an event like this. How do you look at freshman students who come in and say, hey, I want to get into the world of photography, but you convey to them that these are the types of events that are going to tie in everything they've learned?
Ooh, so of course, friendly smiles, what lures people in. And basically I asked, hey, where are you at in photography? Do you love it? Do you see it as a part-time job? And I kind of go on from there. I talk about my personal experience. I'm an event photographer, and you can make money off an event like this as a professional. People, not just this school, many other schools do it too. And also even families, they celebrate this event and they want a photographer. So money talks, So when I bring that in, hey, you can make this a profession. That's what really brings them in, because I look at it as an art, but I also look at it as a commercial photographer. So you can get your degree in it, and you can start your business, and you can just let it take off with events just like this, because it's portfolio building. Did that answer that question?
I've got to ask you, because we look at Cheech Marin and his museum in Riverside and what he does for the Hispanic artists, be it paint, ceramic, and in the area that you're in. So if I were to look at you and say, because we could go back and look at some of the great shooters and say, oh, they were English, they were Irish. Who is the top Hispanic shooters, and have you seen this industry grow for those individuals in the Hispanic culture to find a real foothold in the world of photography?
I definitely want to now. When it comes to top photographers like that are just like in this, heritage and grouping, I can't think of any, but there's a lot of us out there now. When it comes to commercial photographers, yes, there's a bunch of us out there. We're the ones shooting the weddings, baptisms, the quinceañeras. That's where we're finding that loophole, because that's stuff that we can connect with, so that's where I'm seeing in the commercial aspect. Now I know there's a couple. We just had a photographer visit Fullerton College, who is Chicano, and he really like holds on to his roots. And I can't think of his name, and he spoke here last week, but he's one of the top in our Los Angeles area, I believe, who actually graduated from Fullerton College. So his thing is he's a documentarian, I believe. So he's all about Chicano rights and everything like that. So it's kind of like we're in every aspect of photography. There, plenty of us are there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, we do want to let you go out, celebrate, and also be with
you.
your students as well. But we do want to thank you for being on the air here, letting us get a glimpse of what it means not just to be in photography, but also how you're able to kind of mesh what photography means and how you can get those family ties and ancestral ties that we're talking about with an event like this. So thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for the simple reason that the world of photography, for personal reasons, seems to get lost because everybody's using their phone nowadays.
Yep.
In my day, we all grew up with the little portfolio books in our room, and we'd say, remember when you were 8 and 7? It's nice to see what you're teaching, to keep that family tradition so you can go back 75 years, which somebody's not going to do with a phone and a camera on a phone, and remember grandma, great-grandfather, geez, who was that? That was Uncle so-and-so. What did they do because of people like you? And thank you for what you do for a living. You allow people to enjoy the world today, the world of yesterday, and the world of tomorrow. And because of your eyes, we'll get to see it for forever.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
So we're going to continue here at Dia De Los Muertos in just a couple of moments. I may have fumbled, but the broadcast won't. Stay tuned with us here on KBPK.
Well, welcome back to KBPK's showing of Dia De Los Muertos here at Fullerton College. I'm here with Professor Manny Pacheco.
Hi there.
So, what have you thought about the celebration tonight so far?
The diversity is incredible. There are so many different booths that tackle so many different areas of culture. Mm-hmm. I believe this might be the biggest and best that Fullerton has ever put together. The acts, the entertainment, really special. We got to see one that went for clearly a half hour, and it was very colorful, very tribal, and very exciting. It was just fun, and they're about to air some ballet folklorico. So, what I'm wondering why am I talking to a skeletal figure? I don't understand. This is Raymond Vasquez,
yes,
one of my students, and I got to tell you, he does a great job of handling the anchor duties here for the KBPK stream of our Dia de los Muertos. What do you think? I mean, you did your own face painting, but we have a whole booth dedicated with maybe up to 10 or 15 folks from the Cosmetology department.
Yeah, and from what I was seeing earlier, and even now, it's still busy. I mean, there's still people, figuring out what designs they want, and sometimes they even bring their own designs. From what I saw doing my own face paint, it's very personal, the design that you want to do. I mean, if I'd known that the booth was going to be here, I probably would have left it to the professionals, the ones that are actually doing and studying how to do this. But, I mean, it was difficult. It was a tough process. There was a lot of, process and error, and I had to take stuff off sometimes, experiment. But what I come up with at the end is personal, and it's what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
And I think that's the point of it. It's not to make it look perfect or to follow a perfect design or copy somebody else, but instead to make it more personal to yourself and what really connects with you.
And to that point, just remember that Dia de los Muertos is different from Halloween in that it's a traditional holiday for the Latino community. And it celebrates those who have gone before us, who still watch over us from heaven. And we honor them back with photographs and food and culture. and anything that's personal in that message you want to send to those that you dearly loved who've gone on. I did notice the food is absolutely magnificent. We had some. I had some carne asada tacos, and beans and rice, and of course they have all kinds of the specialty Mexican drinks. You want to talk a little about those?
Before I had my food, my tacos of pollo and carne asada with frijoles and arroz, I first saw champurrado, and I love champurrado. I mean, it's the best hot chocolate you can have, and then with some pan dulce on the side, I mean, it's perfect. And it's starting to get a little colder right now, but it just warms you up from the inside.
Well, you're right about pan dulce heaven here, because there's lots of it everywhere. I see everybody eating the pan dulce.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of the food fun, shall we say. So what we're doing here is we're going to be interviewing some more people. In the meantime, we're having a good time as it gets into the evening hours. This is going to go on until 9 p.m., which is kind of cool. And we want you to be part of it. Thank you so much for joining us, part of this live stream of the Dia De Los Muertos celebration here at Fullerton College on KBPK.
And if you're close by, we encourage you to come and visit. There's still time left and still food available.
So Ryan Osborne joined by Mark Pavlovich here at Dia De Los Muertos. And as it continues to darken up a little bit, Mark, you and I got ourselves some horchata, and we're having a grand old time.
We're set. We're set. We don't know about anybody else behind us. I mean, everybody's on blankets. We should have stole one of those Fullerton College blankets.
You know what? That's what we should have done. We should have gotten ourselves our own blankets, enjoyed a night under the stars with the performances directly behind us. And, Mark, we talked to a lot of different people. They each have their own different aspect of what this event means to them, or even just what their speciality is and how they bring it into an event like this. But so far, Mark, we haven't had a chance to kind of relay what it means to us both. You yourself have seen a lot more Dia de los Muertos here on campus than I have. When you take a look at this event that not only KBPK is at, but that they host each and every year, how have you seen it progress in your time at Fullerton College?
Well, I mean, it's expanded with all the different programs here on the college. I mean, a lot of the programs would used to say, well, there's no reason for me to do it. I have no basis in it. And that has changed over the years, where all the groups now, all the different departments find a reason and a history in their own department to be part of this celebration. So it's grown that way. The community now has embraced it even more. So you now have more people from the outside the community, as we see tonight, on the blankets, bringing their youngsters to find out about, basically the history here of the city of Fullerton, the heritage of the city of Fullerton, and the heritage of Fullerton College.
Earlier I was on here while everyone else was grabbing their food and getting themselves ready to go for the second half of Dia de los Muertos. I was talking about how you yourself have had a conversation with Jerry Padilla, and like you said, his family history is intertwined with the area that Fullerton College is in, and you could say that Fullerton College is intertwined with his family history. You look at the surrounding area, and you've mentioned it many times, primarily Hispanic and white neighborhoods in this Fullerton College region, community. When you see so many different people from the community come to Fullerton College just for the event, they may not even attend Fullerton College. They may be in the local high schools, family and friends of people who attend here, but overall you're seeing the community respond and come out here just to enjoy this type of celebration.
Well, yeah, and what we have seen in the last few months here at Fullerton with a new college president and how she embraces the Hispanic community. We see the dedication of buildings to people who have gone to college here or are a huge part of the Hispanic community. And it all of a sudden makes everybody realize what Orange County was. Let's realize the history of Orange County. We were a citrus area. Sunkist was here. If you go in downtown Anaheim, over by East Street, on Lincoln, Sunkist used to be there. The tracks used to be right there. And that's where they used to package everything and send it out of Orange County. Where did you get the workers? They talk about workers today, Ryan. You had to get workers that didn't get paid much. And so you had the Bracero movement, where the workers would come up from Mexico, They would have landowners that would bring them up here, stay in some of the places that are still here in Fullerton and the Anaheim area, and they would clean the fields. And Sunkist would pay for everything that was brought in, ship it out of California, and that's why we are Orange County. I grew up in my house in Anaheim, right across the street was an orange grove for miles. And as kids, we played there. So, you know, I grew up in my neighborhood, which, like I said, were my buddies, which were basically the Gonzaleses, the Bourbones, and you went in the family, and it was the entire family, grandma, everybody else, and you ate the food they ate. You learned a little more Spanish. And back in my days, yes, you took Spanish classes and English classes because they thought back in the early 60s you should be immersed as a bilingual student, which they still do today. So you understand the heritage of a Hispanic family, and we see it here on this campus tonight.
You mentioned all the different aspects going historical about the area and region that is Orange County. I mean, you go into Anaheim, you hear about the packing district. Not a lot of people realize it's not just called the packing district because it's a fancy name. Very literally, that was a packing plant. You have those tracks that are right nearby, not because they're supposed to be large trains, but because that's where they offloaded or unloaded the different oranges and citrus onto those tracks. And you go to the Brea Olinda Hills, the oil fields, where a lot of the families have traditionally, like you mentioned, a lot of different immigration and culture that has come from the Brea Olinda Hills and stays here in the city of Fullerton. It's not just Dia De Los Muertos in a sense of we're sitting here on premiering this on November the 2nd because it's a nice, cool little night in Fullerton. This has distinct meaning to the people who are from Fullerton College. And we'll call it Fullerton College, and by that we mean the Brea Olinda Hills, we mean the city of Fullerton, Placentia, Buena Park as well. But this area, this community, people come here to an event like this, and they come to Dia De Los Muertos for the last 27 years because this is a celebration of their culture.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ryan, it was a time, I don't know if it's still true, but Santa Ana had the largest Hispanic population, especially Mexican. The only other city that had more Mexicans that lived there were Mexico City. Now, I don't know if the statistics still stand, but they did in one day. So Orange County has embraced, or has been the place that the Hispanic community has embraced for years, be it Santa Ana, Buena Park, Fullerton, Brea, the entire area. And now it's this way that we are now, with events like this, getting to learn about the culture. I find nothing more exciting than learning about the culture. It's just like when we had photography here. And I happen to bring up a museum in Riverside that if you've never been there, you need to go to. It's fantastic. And talk about Hispanic artists. And to see who those people are nowadays, and to let them look back at the heritage of California, especially Southern California and Orange County.
Well, Mark, plain and simple, you and I could use some refills on our horchata, so why don't we go and do so? We're going to go and get ourselves some more horchata. We've got more on the way here from Dia De Los Muertos on KBPK.
You just heard from Ryan and Mark here at 90.1 KBPK. We're at Dia de los Muertos, and I'm lucky to be here with a gentleman from the Veterans Resource Center, Travis Mahaffey. It's a pleasure to meet you. I heard there's like 23% of Fullerton College students are veterans. It's an insanely large number. I'm not even sure most schools are like that.
No, but we're grateful that our Veterans Center offers a variety of resources to our veterans, and the programs here on campus are unique enough that it interests a lot of different veterans to come here because it's not offered anywhere else.
So what's like one thing you can do? I know if you have a DD-214, you can get, was it 4 units of college credit for showing up to the VRC and getting paperwork filled out? How does that work?
Correct. So they submit their DD-214, they submit it online, it gets approved by one of our coordinators, gets approved by our dean, and it's usually it weighs a PE credit, and I believe one of the self-development areas. So they usually take advantage of that when they're possible.
That's 2 less classes you have to take, I guess. That helps a lot. Now, tell me, what else unique things did the Veteran Resource Center do?
Well, we have our own tutors, so English, math, most of the sciences, I would say, Spanish, some of the random ones. We have our own academic counselors. We got 2 adjunct and a full-time currently. I mean, just the kind of things like snacks, the education plans, camaraderie is a huge one, because they kind of lose that once they leave the service, and so they need to. So it's something they kind of helps them transition a bit from that military lifestyle to civilian now, and it's something the one thing they do miss out of the military service is the camaraderie. So they can have the best of both worlds.
The fraternity doesn't end just when you leave the military. That's a beautiful thing.
Correct.
And you have actual tutors for all these different classes. You have the camaraderie. And is it kind of a kick it spot too? Can you come there and just relax?
Yeah, like I said, the camaraderie. We got TV in there. Everyone kind of provides their own little something to our little environment, right?
Sure.
So just kind of, we have outside source resources that can get brought in. Like today, we had a paint night.
Nice.
So they had someone from Laguna Playhouse come in, and the veterans got to paint things. It helps them decompress. It helps them another way of coping, I suppose, a healthy way of coping with stress.
That's absolutely beautiful. And what would you like people to know, veterans who haven't yet signed up to come to Fullerton College, what else would you like them to know about the veteran resources that may not be on a brochure or a pamphlet or something like that?
That you have someone advocating for you when you come to the Veterans Resource Center. Someone who, like, hey, if you got problems with financial aid, we'll help you with that. We'll contact financial aid and see if we can clear up with whatever your particular issue is. Residency, whatever help you on your path in order to walk that stage at in a decent amount of time, and so you're not stuck here forever and you're wasting your jail benefits and you haven't moved on to that 4 year yet.
Right, right. That's important because they want to. It's supposed to be a leg up. Don't just stay here forever.
Yeah.
We have a big problem with that here in Southern California. And
We
community
love
colleges.
you guys, but we want you out of here and when you're supposed to get out of here.
Exactly. So, I wanted to also touch upon stuff that you guys have done for the community too, because you've given back to the community here at Fullerton College. I see a lot of veteran resource centers, shall I say alumni, also helping out on campus doing volunteer work and stuff like that. I think that's very important too, because it is like a fraternal organization. It's a very big, very strong fraternity in a weird way.
Yeah, so even when our alumni who graduated long ago, like they'll come in because they find Fullerton College is kind of like a home base, right? So the Veterans Resource Center is not just for students; it's also members of the community, right? So they still come in, they'll still hang out with us. They'll still take part in events, like we have a golf tournament coming up here in like November 13th, and they'll sign up to volunteer. They will they'll golf with us, not necessarily because they may enjoy golfing, but just to be part of that community still.
Yeah, the worst day golfing still better than the best day at work. That's guaranteed.
I think a wise man said that once. Yes.
But also, the problem with college can be sometimes for people who have never maybe had family members or anyone before them in the family go to college is there's so much red tape. It's really daunting. Just the paperwork alone is like, what's a transcript? What do you mean? I have to go back to my high school and get papers to prove I went to high school? How do you not know that already? And something like the Veteran Resource Centers have people who help you guide through all those obstacles, all those hurdles. It is such a boon to the students here to have something like that. It's amazing. It's amazing to have that.
Yeah, so we kind of initially we'll hold your hand and help you with all these things because this is something totally different and the military different prepare you for going to school, right? But we're also trying to give you the tools to do these things on your own because the 4-year university, the Cal State, that resource might not be there for you. So we're trying to show them to advocate for themselves and give them the knowledge to navigate all the bureaucracy that might be coming your way.
You mentioned the golf tournament. What else can we be looking for this semester from the Veteran Resource Center? Something we should be looking out for. This should be on the radar.
Golf tournament. We have Veterans Week the week before that.
Oh.
I don't have details for you right now on what that will all entail, but traditionally, as like there's Field of Heroes, I believe that's coming up this week. They'll be planting a bunch of flags out here on campus. So you'll see that, and we're looking for volunteers too if someone wants to help out and help set that up and break that down beginning of the week.
The Field of Heroes semesters past was we came out here on this quad, and every scrap of green grass had a little flag planted on it. I remember asking the young lady who was working the Veteran Resource Center booth, I'm like, oh, what does this represent? And she said, each one of them is a service member that had died. I can't remember exactly what war it was or exactly.
I believe it's the Gulf War and Terror, basically since 2001.
Yes, yes. And you look at it and it just takes your breath away. You would think it was something the art department did here. And it was a Veteran Resource Center. It's just amazing to see something like that. As someone who's been a civilian my whole life, you see something like that and it just takes your breath away and you're like, oh, wow, okay, yeah. This is a visual representation of something that most of us are blind to.
It's pretty daunting when you first look at it and know what the symbolism is.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for your time, Tyler Mahaffey, at the Veterans Resource Center here at Fullerton College. I know you guys moved. They're not in the 500 building anymore. You're in 1902?
1901 and 1902.
Okay, so behind the PE building, sandwiched between the PE building and where the soccer field would be.
Correct.
Perfect, perfect. So now we know where to get you at. Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back. Stay tuned here on 90.1 KBPK. We'll have more Dia De Los Muertos stuff coming right up. Thank you very much.
Ryan Osborne, Mark Pavlovich, Murdan Mojtahedi here on KBPK as we are live here at Dia De Los Muertos, live in a sense, if you will. Of course, for those of you watching online, Dia De Los Muertos for Fullerton College was on October 26th, but for us, it comes to you live, premiered on November the 2nd. So again, Ryan, Mark, Murdad, we bring it over to you because this is the first time that you've gotten to be on KBPK for Dia De Los Muertos. So far, what has the experience been like?
So Dia De Los Muertos is super, super special for me. The first time I ever saw it here at Fullerton College was I was in the middle of a computer networking class up over in the 300 building, which is closed right now for renovations. And in the middle of a lecture, we heard a boom, 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 thump, 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 thump. And it got to the point where the professor's like, okay, let's just stop lecturing. Let's go out and see what this is all about. And we all hung out and we were shocked seeing the big feathered headdresses, the dancing with the Aztec attire. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And then so the next semester, I came down and made sure to see what it was all about in person because I didn't have class at the time. And I saw all the different altars that were there, and not necessarily just for family members, but like the English department had one with like William Shakespeare there, Mark Twain, and Tupac. Because the kid who was running the booth for the English department was a big rap music fan. And he made sure Tupac was there because Tupac changed his life. It was different for him. So it really, really had an impact on me, especially because I come from a culture where death is the absence of life. It is an absolute negative. So it's the opposite of all that is good. And here with Dia De Los Muertos, you see, no. It's a part of life. You can't have life without death. You and I, we're just people who haven't died yet. There are more dead people on planet Earth than there are living people, if you think about it.
Well, I might be gone, so I don't know.
No, but it's interesting you mentioned that because we had Erica on earlier, and Mark, you got to interview Erica along with myself, and she mentioned that. She said it's been intriguing to find out and talk to different people at Dia De Los Muertos because herself, she mentioned her family actually didn't celebrate it when she was growing up. It was more of something she experienced when her friends introduced it to her. So to see different people from all different walks of life learning about it, understanding what it's about, and then also just experiencing it for the first time, it shows you different viewpoints of people from around the world that you may not have heard of or thought of before.
Well, it's how everybody looks at, like Murdad brought it up too. It's I mean, how do we remember those who have moved on? And, you know, when I asked her about religious aspects, she goes, boy, that gets really complicated because most Hispanics come from a Catholic world. So she said, you know, when you add the aspect of religion to it, and it's not, the way I understand it, it's not a religious holiday. I don't even think of it as a holiday.
It's interesting.
It's a large ceremony. I know down in Mexico it's huge. Ron, my buddy who lives down there, will tell you that when it happens down there, it goes on 24 hours.
It's interesting because it's this intricate intersection not to get all tongue-tied here, but intricate intersection of religion and tradition. Because you look at it, in a sense, you could see it from a religious aspect, depending on your viewpoint. Because in certain viewpoints, you look at it and you say, okay, this is what I believe in, this is where my belief goes to. You know, it's death isn't that jumping off point, it's that continuation. And then you see other people who look at it and say, it's more of a tradition for me. It's not necessarily religion, but it's a traditional thing that my family has enjoyed for generations, and it's something for us to embrace culturally. So you see different aspects, different viewpoints, different mindsets from people who may be from the same quote-unquote culture, but they've experienced it differently and they see it differently.
And that's the beauty of cultures. With these intersections, you take a little bit of something and then you leave a little bit of something back for yourself. Like you see votive candles here, you go, well, that seems kind of Catholic. And then you see pictures of La Catrina, which is something Aztec and ancient. It predates the Catholic Church. And we see them all coming and melding in together. And that's what's really interesting about cultures like that. They all meld into something new.
Yeah, and the other aspect, too, that if you're Anglo and you come and you look at it and you say, okay, well, for those of us that grew up in the aspect of Hallows Eve or Halloween, we look at the aspect of face paint, we look at the aspect of food, we look at the aspect of candy, which sort of gets rolled into, and we do think about, when it comes to Halloween, spirits from another world. And so there's that strange cross culture, considering that Halloween's on the 31st of October, Day of the Dead is on November 2nd. They feel like they should be connected, but they're 50,000 miles apart from each other when you look at the two different cultures.
Right. When you see Dia De Los Muertos here on KBPK, we have done this for a few years now. Last year, more of an interview aspect, and in 2019, we got a chance to be live on the air on KBPK. But being a student here at KBPK, Mehrdad, you have experienced a lot of different live aspects, pre-recorded aspects in your collegiate career here with KBPK and been through with the program. How does Dia De Los Muertos kind of measure up to things you've already experienced while being on the radio?
I have to say, every time you come to Dia de los Muertos, there's something new to learn. Like, for example, this year we had Professor Andrus here who's teaching us about fentanyl and its effects on all of America right now. There's a huge cartel war going on. The cartels are experimenting putting fentanyl in drugs because they want you to get addicted to theirs. And it's got to the point where it's killed people and whatnot. And we also had Narcan training here at this very college a few months ago. And it was eye-opening and amazing to have that here. And to me, that's my take-home message this semester from Dia de los Muertos, thinking about that in a new way, in an unconditioned way that we were preconditioned before to see it. Now we can see it in a different way. We've lost a lot of good people. It's time to get rid of the stigma around drugs and talk about them for what they truly are.
And with Dia de los Muertos, it is all about what you can take away from this event, from all the different people that we get a chance to talk to. Speaking of getting a chance to talk to, guys, we're actually going to vacate the table. We've got some more interviews on the way. Let's get right to them, because you know what? We got our refill of horchata, but I finished mine again, so I'm going to need thirds.
Let's do it.
So we'll be back in just a couple of moments with more interviews from Dia de los Muertos on KBPK.
Welcome back here on KBPK, Dia de los Muertos. I'm Raymond Vasquez. You just listened to Ryan, Mark, and Mehrdad talk about this amazing holiday, and I have some more amazing interviews here. So please, if you'd introduce yourselves.
Kualita yowat, nihi tokan tekpat iwan inaha mexika, nikan wahitali tongwa huhutug. I said good afternoon, buenas noches. My name is Running Deer, Obsidian Knife Clan, heart of the Mountain Clan. I'm from the Mexica tribe of Aztlan and Tenochtitlan, Mexico City, Southwest.
My name is Andres Oliva. I'm a Mexica as well, and pretty much, I had a good day today. I had pretty good times. So anyways, ask away. Ask away.
So why are you here tonight? What's your, I saw that you have a table here, you have a booth. What are you talking to people about on this holiday?
We're honoring our ancestors that were here before us, BC, When we say BC, we're talking about before Columbus. He never discovered us, Curse of Columbus. Before Cortez, those were the colonists that came. So they killed our ancestors. So we were asked to have an altar, an altar for Dia de los Muertos, which we call in the Nahuatl Mexica language in North America. That makes Chicanos, Mexican, Mexica people, Native Americans is North America. So to honor our ancestors, BC, before Christ, before casinos, churches, and the colonists. So that's what we're doing, is sharing knowledge, education. And that's what helped me before. When I was going to Anaheim High School, Catella High School, I transferred to come to Fullerton College. I took Native American history class, Chicano studies, Chicano history, Mexican American studies, and then I transferred to Santa Ana, then Cypress speech class, and then I went to a Native American art school in Santa Fe, New Mexico, with my good Hopi brothers that I met here at the Native American class, thanks to Jerry Padilla and Adela Lopez. So that's what brings us here, and getting signatures to remove the name of the school, the colonists, with our students, with Tochli. She's one of our students, and also another student right here from the high schools here nearby here in Anaheim and Orange.
Okay. So Dia de los Muertos is all about honoring and remembering your ancestors. How do you remember your ancestors and those of your tribe?
We honor tobacco and then copal. Copal is what we use. And we also paint our faces. As you can see, they have their face painted. Not her, it's okay. You don't have to. It's optional. But traditionally, we wear like you are as well. And there's 13 levels when we die and 9 levels called Tocpan and Mictlan.
Okay.
Chiknawi means 9. Matlatlehuanye means 13, which is the 2 lines and the 3 dots. And the Nazca calendar is really a calculus called Tonalama, Tonamachio, Tonapoake, like the tribe in New Mexico called Pueblo Poake. That's one of their names. There's another more ancient name, but it's around this, connected. So we teach them, and it's healing psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. A lot of us suffer from historical trauma. When the colonists came, they saw us painted and with all our bodies painted, and they call us brujos, witches, brujas. And no, we're not brujas or witches. We're native sovereign people of the continent of Xachilanca. So Dia de los Muertos, we always say, Nemi en Mique, Viva la Muerte, Long Live los Muertos. And we have a gray hairless dog called Xoloscuincle. And we had a dance here earlier. She's wearing part of the regalia of the Jaguars. We're Calpuli Jaguares, Jaguars, Tecuanis. Tio Raimundo, Doña Mari, Malacat are also our Mexica dancers. And yes, that's part of what we do, but we honor them with copal. Copal is like sap from the pine trees. The Hopis in Arizona use that, in the pueblos of New Mexico, like Okeowinge, which is the tribes in the Aslan or Asli, where the Chicanos and Mexicanos, indigenous peoples, came from. We are in our native homeland. We are in our homeland. So we teach them that, and we still are fighting to change the name of the Anaheim High School. So we've been getting a lot of good feedback, and we're also helping promote, if I may, education. There's a book called There. And this native brother is urban native from Oxnard. Gets raised with Mexicanos, Chicanos in the barrios of urban native like us. We're urban natives. And so in this book, he mentions about the colonists, how they invaded our territories. If you're from the Indian reservation or in the barrio, you have indigenous blood. You eat nopales. You are native. You eat frijolitos, beans, taon, you eat chocolate. We created vanilla and chocolate, so we teach them that. And we speak Nahuatl. Chipotle, aguacate, Seattle, cholo, tata. Chichi means dog. Chichi means dog. Chichi, I know. The word Chicana came about that. So that's what we try to do. Maybe, I don't know if Andy wants to share something or about maybe the Anaheim High School, or you an alumni there?
Well, pretty much he asked a question about what's the Day of the Dead, correct? You were asking us what does it mean? It's pretty much to remember the ones that we lost. So that's why when we do the altars, we do where there's an opening. So when they pass through to visit their ancestors, that's why usually we put their favorite food that they used to like, and they drank beer, wine, just to call the spirits in. And it's one day a year, so it's we should never forget them. We should just think about them, So it's one time a year, at least, go out with a blast, you know. So that's
pulque too. We offer pulque, traditional ceremonial alcohol. Yeah,
Okay.
pulque.
I mean, I know for me, my family coming from Guatemala and El Salvador, it's, the culture and your ancestors really are everything. I mean, from El Salvador, the Cuscatlan tribe, and then, from Guatemala, the Mayans.
Es un patojo. a la gran puchica. You guys speak Nahuapipil. Did you know that?
Really?
They speak part of the Aztec language. Is actually starts in the heart of Aztlan, which is Arizona. Arizona is not English or Spanish. And you have the Hopi tribes that were never conquered. and they speak some Nahuatl, Yuto Azteca Hopi words. So I made the connections with Aaron and Tohono O'odham, Yaqui. They say masa, maso. For venado, they say maso, we say masad. When you go to Cuscatlan, they say tuchi. For rabbit, we say tochli. So Pechanga says tochli too at the Indian reservation Pechanga. Payochum Yamyo is the original name of them before Pechanga. But yeah, so we are connected. We're under the Yuto Azteca Nahuatl linguistic family before the colonists created these borders.
Okay. So how do you connect your, traditional tribal traditions with the more modern Dia de los Muertos that we know today, with sugar skulls and, what we see today? I mean, how do you connect and honor your ancestors, both in terms of the ancient tribal, things that you do and the modern, more Dia de los Muertos that we're used to traditions?
So you're asking what do we use more traditionally now?
Well, how do you combine the two? Because I'm sure you don't just do one or the other.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
In this group, particularly, we use the tradition. With this calpuli, it's traditional. We're not concheros. Concheros and concheras are. There's two types of Mexica acid dance groups. There's ones that have the guitars. When the Spanish came, they brought the guitars. And if you didn't bow down and do this in the name of the Father, you would get killed by the King of Spain, the sword, or the remove the bells. Or there's a petition that teaches you more about the bells. Anyways, the Inquisition, the missions. Now there's calpulis, which means group danza, that mix the Catholic, which came from Europe, that was forced upon us. So we had to, at that time, pretend. We had to honor Tonantzin, which is the Virgin Mary, La Virgen de Guadalupe, or Miquisli, which is La Muerte, Mitlantecuti, Miticasihuat. I could go on and on and on. But us, we are not concheros. We don't have guitars. If we get invited to go to a church, a Catholic church, we have to take our corpilis, our headdress, or penachos off to show respect to Cuauhtemoc. They burn his feet. But to answer more specifically your question, the concheros will use the guitar, will go inside the Catholic church or outside. And they combine both. They'll have the cross, and they'll have the Virgin Mary, the saints, the santos. There's a lot of Pueblo tribes in Nuevo Mexico that practice both. But there's still some traditional ones like Hopi that were never invaded or conquered by the Catholic mission, the Pope, El Vaticano, El Papa. And there's now a big awakening call of our people in Mexico and in Turtle Island, Aztlan. A lot of Chicanos, Mexicanos, young people underage are wanting to seek their ancestors. Who were we? What were we? Them too actually practiced clorflorico before danza, and we've met them here. She actually was a clorflorico here, and she saw us here last year. And so herself too at another event in Santa Ana. So there's people that combine both and that people that don't combine both. But that's what we had to do. But now we have an option. You don't have to. Before you had to get on your knees. If not, they would kill us. Like Toipurina. We're on Tangwa land, territory of the Tangwa. They're Yuto Azteca Nahuatl, Gabrieleños. I want to give a shout out to Virginia Camerlo, Lázaro, Citlali, Tonantzin. And they helped us in past indigenous peoples in Anaheim. We were the first city in Orange County, and this land we're on, we did the land acknowledgement. This is Tangwa territory, and so we show respect. And they have a video documentary on YouTube, and type in Toyporina, Toyporina, and there's a play, there's a script, there's something that we should probably present to the Anaheim High School, so in the theater department, so they can educate the majority of 94% of the population. Mexicanos, Chicanos are indigenous, and they need to see the danza there too. And maybe combine both so they can understand both, or overstand with just Mexicayo. Something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, before we end tonight, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to share or talk about with your traditions and your culture?
Yes, I would like to hand this to her with all respect, if that's okay, so she can answer something.
Sure. Hello, I would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, mi nombre es Tochli. My name is Tochli. That means rabbit in Nahuatl.
My name is Sofia Gonzalez.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your culture before we finish the interview tonight? Anything personal to you about tonight?
I think it's important for us to educate ourselves on what our culture is and our roots, nuestras raíces, and to acknowledge that everything around us kind of hides our roots. That we have to look between the lines and think about why it's there. And I think having representation for indigenous tribes, not just in Mexico, everywhere, all in the United States, and acknowledge that this whole like this whole like continent of America is not just like the United States. It's America. Everything from the people, the native people. It doesn't belong to like anybody. It belongs to the native people, and like I said, we have to look into like what our raíces are, our true, and acknowledge it, just acknowledge it, and to be educated and not be like closed-minded, and just education is like knowledge is power.
Okay. Something that I would like to add to is you can't be afraid to learn about your roots. Yes, there's going to be people that will judge you and be like, oh, why do you eat this? Why do you wear this? They obviously won't know, but you could teach them little by little. We'll find our roots. And it's always good to educate ourselves too, because they think that we're going to be losing all of our like culture, our just things that we celebrate. And honestly, I feel like we have to step up and show them that we're not afraid to show who we truly are.
Well, thank you for joining me here tonight and sharing about your culture and your traditions for tonight. And, I hope that with the dances and everything that you really got to enjoy tonight and share your message and talk with some amazing people and, connect with others in our culture. Well, thank you for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for our live stream that'll be going up live on November 2nd on Dia De Los Muertos. I'm Raymond Vasquez here on KBPK.
So back here on KBPK, Ryan Osborne, Raymond Vasquez, Mark Pavlovich, giving us your best Superman and your Dia De Los Muertos here at Dia De Los Muertos as we wrap things up here on KBPK. Once again, Ryan, Raymond, and Mark. Guys, you look at this event, we have had a marvelous time talking to people who not only are experiencing this event or participating in it, but we got to hear about why they are here. Not just because of Dia De Los Muertos, but we've heard from sociology, the veterans here on campus, photography, and then also cosmetology as well. So many different walks of life and interests that we got a chance to talk to. I'll bring it over to you, Mark. Very diverse in terms of who we got to talk to at Dia De Los Muertos.
Yeah, I think what it does is it tells you that there is a heritage that's alive and well here on campus. People are getting educated. People are embracing. People understanding each other a little bit better. Every time you have an event like this, from an old guy like me, it makes me think that maybe tomorrow's going to be better, that we understand each other a little more. The more I understand why you are who you are, the more I should embrace you. And when you have events like this, hopefully the open-mindedness of everybody who comes here will allow you to embrace that thought. And if it does, maybe before I'm one of the pictures on a table at this event, I'll see that society has finally grown up and we accept each other for who we are.
Raymond, I'll swing it over to you. This is your first Dia De Los Muertos on KBPK. How was the experience like being able to not only participate in it yourself, as you see with what you chose to wear and express today, but also being able to talk to other people who may be experiencing it for the first time themselves?
Sure. Well, I think it's really important what Mark said, that, you know, it's the college coming together, but I would even push it further and say it's not just the college, it's the community that we have here. It's Fullerton College, it's beyond. I mean, we talk to people that are coming from Anaheim, from Yorba Linda, you know. It's not just the college, but it's what the college represents right now, and it's a communal space for people with similar-minded, you know, values to come and talk and get to know each other. And it's like you were saying, that people might experience it differently. They might have a different tradition or a different background. We talked to some people that had never experienced it before and, you know, heard about it, but their family didn't practice it, to those who live it every day, not just for Dia De Los Muertos. And I think that really looking to see how people interact with their culture and the community around them not only allows you to see the importance of this holiday, but the connections that tie us all together that span just beyond a day or a year or even a generation, but just human connections that keep us all together and keep us moving forward, hopefully, to a better tomorrow.
Both of you guys mentioned a better tomorrow and a future to look forward to. You said human connections. I'm bringing it back over to the king of human connections in Mark Pavlovich, the person who has never met a stranger. You come to an event like this, and very simple, everyone decides to take the Mark Pavlovich mindset. And they say everyone becomes family whenever you go and approach, no matter who you're talking to, at a place like this in Dia De Los Muertos at Fullerton College. Mark, is there a moment that stands out for you in the Dia De Los Muertos celebrations that we've had here in the past, or even tonight on KBPK?
Well, yeah, what stands out to me is what I've learned. Every time I come to one of these events, Ryan, I always go and say, you know what, I'm going to discover something new, which I do. And I want to thank the individuals that put this on to letting us come and discover. No matter which group you go to, be it the Veteran Society, be it photography, be it cosmetology, you learn something. And we're an educational facility. That's what life is about. If you can't wake up and learn something every day, I feel sorry for you. I feel bad for you. And if you can't look at the person sitting next to you and have them tell you their story and go, wow, be amazed by it, be bewildered by it, wanting to know more about it, then I feel bad. And when coming to events like this, I walk away, and I tell you what, I wish I was 18 again, not just to be younger, but that would give me another 54 years to learn about things that are there. And that's what makes tonight so exciting. Seeing the little kids out here and hoping that they all just didn't have fun, but maybe they went home and thought, wow, I never knew that. And that's the biggest thing I get from when I come to things like this, is when I get in my car and go, wow, I never knew that. And that's what makes this night a night to always want to come to.
You know, building off of that, Mark, for me personally, it also goes back to the kids that we saw running around, dancing, enjoying tonight, not just because they learned something, but it's excitement because in 20 years, they're going to look back at their family and say, you know what one of the best times I had when I was a kid was? Going to Fullerton College and celebrating Dia De Los Muertos. I remember when I got to join in with the people who were performing. I got to dance afterwards. I got to experience the food. I got to get my face painted and see the makeup of all the different artists here at not KBPK, but Fullerton College. Those are people who in 20 years are going to be 25-year-olds my age, 25, 26, 27-year-olds, saying one of the best moments of my childhood was going to a college that celebrated their culture. That's going to be exciting to look forward to. As we continue to look forward to things, it's going to actually wrap up our time here at Dia De Los Muertos. Guys, we want to thank everyone who has joined us here on Dia De Los Muertos, for all of our guests. We also want to thank the staff who has joined us to make sure that we got this on the air. We want to thank Tyler Dapkus, who has been our technical advisor here throughout the entirety of the night. Murdan Mochtahedi, who you have seen here on KBPK for Dia De Los Muertos, and Manny Pacheco as well, along with Corey Nayland too. Everyone coming here to celebrate and get us on the air so we can enjoy this along with everyone else. For Mark Pavlovich, Raymond Vasquez, I am Ryan Osborne, thanking you for joining us on Dia De Los Muertos on KBPK. We invite you to continue to stay with us here on KBPK's YouTube page, as we will continue to bring you content just like Dia De Los Muertos throughout the entirety of the year. So once again, this has been Dia De Los Muertos on KBPK.